Germany from 1920 to 34 was one of definite chaos. Disrupted by the defeat of World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, economic failure, and the Great Depression of 1929, the Nazi Party was only one of many voices in the ensuing rise of fervent nationalism, anti-Semitism, and radical ideologies, including communism. So out of so many different parties and different voices, why the Nazis? Why were they the ones that ultimately won? In a story of Germany's precarious past, dubious present, and unforetellable future, the study of history brings you Hitler's Aufstieg zur Macht. The Nazi Party's success can best be credited to a series of fortunate events within German history, which, when coupled with Hitler's political acumen, allowed it to thrive in an angered and divided Germany. As mentioned earlier, the Nazi Party during this time was relatively more unknown. Therefore, Hitler led the first major movement of the party in 1923, also known as the Beer Hall Push. The push was an occupation of key government buildings. However, the movement lacked support from the general populace, leading to the trial and imprisonment of Hitler. However, this trial and his imprisonment actually led to a completely opposite effect as intended. Maybe exactly what Hitler wanted as a political mastermind. This brought great publicity to the party, allowing it to publish its 25-point program and later Hitler's personal agenda of Mein Kampf, where he outlined a new policy of legality for the Nazi Party, allowing them to find later success within the political system of Germany. Apologies, please wait for a minute, as there seem to be some technical difficulties. I'm in a broadcast. Oh, Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels. Wait right now. Apologies, everybody. We'll be interrupted with a commercial break from Joseph Goebbels of the Nazi Party.
What time is it? Nazi Review! What are we aiming for, my fellow citizens of the Deutschland? A strong economics? A better government? Or actually good food in the cafeteria? The National German Workers' Party will bring us all to a better and brighter future.
But ultimately, even the Nazi Party themselves were not exempt from the many splits and divisions and the chaos in society at the time, leading to a split in factions within the party. However, the Bamberg Conference was such a major event within the party's history, as it allowed them to unite in power and consolidated leadership under Hitler. Therefore, arguably, the Bamberg Conference was definitely one of the factors for the rise of the Nazi Party, as it united them domestically within the party and allowed them to pursue a united and common goal for later success. However, in 1929, there was great catastrophe. With the Wall Street crash and the ensuing Great Depression, workers soon found themselves without jobs, starving, in poor conditions with no resources to go off of. This made people desperate, and people also feared for the risks of a communist revolution. This was a golden opportunity for the Nazis to rise up to power. This fear of communism was further exacerbated in the Reichstag fire of 1933. To tackle this issue, we've decided to interview Hans Eins, a beer manufacturer and a wealthy industrialist in the middle class in Germany at the time. What would he have thought of the Reichstag fire?
Hello, Hans. As a very wealthy industrialist in middle-class German society, what do you think of the Reichstag fire that happened just this morning? I heard there was a communist found inside the buildings.
These communists! They are gonna take my money and give that to the poor!
Yeah, I think we can stop there, Mr. Hans.
Hitler!
Mr. Hans! Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Hans. We do value your opinion very much here.
Well, that was an interesting conversation. But finally, before we move back onto our main program of the Nazi Party's rise to power, we're interrupted once again by a commercial break from Joseph Goebbels himself.
Nazi review! A strong country needs a strong leader. Just like Wi-Fi needs a strong signal. I present to you Führer Adolf Hitler.
Of that commercial break, we'll now be returning to the main sequence on the Nazi timeline. At this point in time, with Hitler gaining more and more power for the party, the death of Hindenburg, the German president, from lung cancer, allowed a power vacuum within the system that allowed Hitler to consolidate the power of the president and the chancellor into the position of the Führer. Effectively, this allowed the Nazi Party to secure their position within the political system, allowing their success. Even after Hitler became chancellor, he decided to further secure his position within the system through the Night of Long Knives in 1934. The Night of Long Knives saw the arrest of over 1,000 officials in the Nazi Party, and estimates run that few hundreds of officials were also killed during this time. This purging within the political party allowed him to remove his political opposition, effectively guaranteeing his leadership in the party and leading the party to a greater and more successful future. Before we end off the documentary here today, we will be having one final transmission from Mr. Joseph Goebbels of the Nazi Party, who will hopefully wrap up the whole thing with a strong message and conclusion.
Nazi review! Today, we must spread the message. We are in war against the citizens. Stop subscribing to this communist pigs! Subscribe to NSDAP. Help us win the war for a better, brighter future.